Hello students, welcome to the new lecture session on Project and Entrepreneurship Development or PED Lab. Myself Shankho Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Automobile Engineering Department at Dr. Sudhir Chandrasur Degree Engineering College under the JIS group. So students, today we'll continue the first chapter, that is entrepreneurship, creativity and the opportunity basis. In the previous classes, on the first classes, we discussed about the definition of the entrepreneurship, and after the definition we discussed the various opinion about the we study about the various opinion on the definition of this entrepreneur. Then after that we will cover the factors or, or what are the main functions of an entrepreneur, what are the criteria is required for the entrepreneur, and what are the characteristics characteristics is needed for an to become an entrepreneur. And the next class, second class, we discuss about the factors take an important role to be an entrepreneur, and after that we could discuss about the classifications of the entrepreneur. Now today we'll continue the class with this creativity and opportunity. So student, let's start the third class of chapter 1, that is entrepreneurship, creativity and opportunity. So today we'll start with the difference in between the entrepreneur and the manager. So student, here you can see there are the two columns there. One is entrepreneur, second one is the manager. And here are the some differences. So first is entrepreneur means owner. A owner is a person. The entrepreneur is the owner who have the enterprise which he or she established himself or herself. So basically entrepreneur is the ownership job. Manager basically means a servant. A manager who is acting in the capacity of a servant in an enterprise. Second is entrepreneur got profit and the manager got salary. So after the run his business, the entrepreneur, after the run his business, entrepreneur got some profit from his or her business, and the manager, he got salary from the entrepreneurship. Next is the fully risk bearing and the no risk bearing. Entrepreneurship is the basically full risk taking job. Managership is the no risk job, where the owner or the entrepreneur has to bear all the risks and all the uncertainty which is involved in running the business. And in case of manager, there is the no risks are there. So as a servant, the manager need not to bear any kind of risk which is involved in the enterprises. He has just follow his job and his duty. Next is entrepreneur and the manager, that is the all functions and the managerial function only. The entrepreneur who have perform all kinds of functions to run the entrepreneur successfully, and the manager only provide his services for his managerial function only. The entrepreneur is an innovator and a manager is an executor. So entrepreneur, where an entrepreneur mainly acts with his innovative idea, creative with the help of your creative mind. So that's why the entrepreneur is called as the innovator. And in case of the manager, he is just execute the jobs. So that's why the manager is known as the executor. So students, have the basic difference in between the entrepreneur and the managers. Next is the basic, coming to the differences in between the entrepreneur and the entrepreneur and intrapreneur. So in case of the entrepreneur, the who is an independent, and in case of the intrapreneur, that's a dependent. So entrepreneur and is an independent person who in his or her business operation, where the intrapreneur who is an dependent, who is completely dependent on the entrepreneur for everything in the organization. Entrepreneur is need not be a highly educated, but in case of the entrepreneur, it requires a highly educated. In case of the entrepreneur, the fundraising is must take an important role. In case of the intrapreneur, which is no fund is required. Entrepreneur is a fundraising, intrapreneur is a no fund raising. Entrepreneur is a risk bearing, intrapreneur is a no risk bearing. Entrepreneur is the follow his routine work, where the intrapreneur who is following is a specialist job. Entrepreneur always operate from the outside, and intrapreneur always operate from the inside. Entrepreneur operates with a strong authorization backup. Intrapreneur has the less authorization power than the entrepreneur. So basically, these are the basic difference in between the entrepreneur and the intrapreneur. Now coming to the creativity. Basically, the creativity is defined as the tendency to generate or recognize various kinds of idea, alternative thinking, or the possibilities that the way be useful in the solving the problem, communicating with the others, and entertaining ourselves and the others. So basically, student, the creativity idea is the think out of the box. When the people started the thinking out of the box, and they are always trying to see this world in his another angle or another view, so then he is an creative, he has the some creative power. Thus, if you can see in these three pictures, first one is the, these are the, when this is the pencil, thus when we cut the pencil with the help of the sharpener, so these wooden pieces are wastage when we cut the pencil with the help of the sharpener. So basically, the creative, the creator, or who have some creative minds, then they are try to use this wooden pencil cutting pencil chips with the in useful things. So then he some draw something, some kinds of objects, and then he place the wooden piece of pencil after the cutting the pencil, then this the wooden piece are pushed into the different way, and it looks like a very nice. So in this the way, this is basically a creative idea. So in this way, when someone try to see the world in another angle, and they can try to find out then another view sorry, try to find another view, then his mind is called as a creative mind. Here you can see there is another picture of with the corn. So someone design some pictures with the help of the corn. They first draw some kinds of pictures, then they just put the corn, or a showpiece of, or corn rubber or whatever, which is looks like a corn, then they place it, and then in this way they get it, in this way they are creative and new thing, which is this a new innovative which has a new innovative idea, new thinking, and he has an another angle of to see the objects. So in this way the creative idea has been comes in front of us and we are working on it. And the middle pictures you can see here, here is the basic scene where we can run each and every day, and there is some creative mind. So if we mix with this all of this, our academic and with the creative idea, then we can become an successful where with having the thinking power of the out of the box. Now coming to the quality of a creative person, the creative person who have the great deal of the energy, but they do not but they are not also often quiet and taking the rest. They are always try to taking rest, and they are so much moody when if and they are always follow his your mind, is your heart. When if you think that he is doing his artistic view, then he has to start to do this. So that's why they are taking too much rest and they might have to deal with the too much of energy. Next is they tend to be smart but yet also native at the same time. They have a combination of the playful and the discipline, or responsibility and the irresponsibility. They are always, when they are trying to do something, they are doing with the discipline and the playfulness, but they are sometimes they are responsibilities and sometimes they are so much irresponsibilities. So these are they are basically the fickle minded. So but they are, when they are trying to do his job, they are so much disciplined. They are alternate in between the imagination and the fantasy at one end, and rooted the sense the reality to the other end. So basically they are lives in between the both in the similar way, in the practical field and the imagination field. Then they are merged to the practical and the imagination field, and we merge the practical thinking and the imagination thinking with his or her creative ideas. Then next is they are all seem to harbor opposite tendency on the continuous between the extrovertism and the introvertism. They are also remarkable, humble and proud at the same time. They are try to a certain extent escape rigid gender role stereotyping, and they having a tendency toward undergoing. They are thought to be rebellious and independent. They are passionate about their work, yet they can be extremely objective about it as well. So basically these are the basic qualities of the creative person. So if you shorted it out from here, so we can find out that the person who always think out of the box, who has the have artistic view, who has some has the power of who has the power of imagination, and then put the imagination power with the mixture and mix with this realistic and build a new kind of things. Then who has always the have a high power of energy, and they are always follow your mind, your heart, following your heart, and they are always humble and feeling proud his or her job. So basically these are the basic quality of a creative person. Now coming to the risk taking. Basically the risk taking behavior refers to the tendency to engage in activities. So when we try to do various kinds of activity which is unknown to us, so then the behavior is called as the risk taking behavior. Basically if we define in a proper way, so it showing the two dimensional are that's are the much crucial. So first one is a degree of reflexivity or consciousness that a risk is taken, and a degree that a risk is taken. So reflexivity in the help of this, that try to take the risk, so they are always reflexivity. And second one is a degree of control or agency, which also provides the individual with an understanding of being in a decision making situation and having the agency. So basically in these two crucial dimensions are define the properly the define the risk making in properly. Now coming to the reasons for and motive of the risk taking. So there are the four reasons. Those are, the first one is the motivation, second one is the control, third one is the reflexivity, and fourth one is develop and protect the identity. First one is the motivation. Motivation means to increase our self motivated power, self esteem power, self believing power, so we can taking the risks. So this and the this, so that's the, and then this is the following, this one is the following the first reason, that is the motivation. Second is the control. So if we control, increase our self control power or self or want to self patience power, that's why we are taking some risks. So this one is the control, cover the second one. Next is the reflexivity. This is reflexivity, to understand with the other and to showing some sports spirit. So that's why we are showing the, we are taking some time and the risks. Next, the last one is the develop and protect the identity. Basically to develop our personality and protecting our identity, we are taking various kind of risks. So in this way, so basically in this way we are, and for that reasons we are taking or going for the risk, taking the risk. So now this is the picture of the risk taking behavior. Here you can see in this picture, this one is the biological maturation, which is can divide into the four ways. This is the cognitive scope, self perception, perception of social environment, and personal value. Here the cognitive scope means the egocentrism, future time perspective. So these are the, from these the cognitive scope to getting the risk perception. Then self perception, which is increase the self esteem, body image, self reliance, identity, and the tolerance. So in this way we are going to the two part. One is the risk perception and another is the characteristics of peer group. Next is the perception of the social environment. From here we the parental influence, parental controls, parental supports, peer influence, peer control, peer support. So according to the basis of that, we follow this perception of the social environment, which pushes us to the characteristics of the peer group. And the next is the personal value, like such as the independence, affection, and the achievement. On the basis of that, the personal value pushes us into the two way. This is the characteristics of the peer group, and second one is directly risk taking behavior. So from here, the risk perception and the characteristics of peer group, both are connected with the risk taking behavior. First one is the risk perception, means optimizes the bias, controllability, cost, benefits. So these are the cover the risk perception. So according to the basis of that, we taking the risks. And next of this is the characteristics of peer group, that is the peer age, peer value, and the peer value. So showing up these things, we are taking them risk. So basically the risk taking behavior basically coming into the this way, where with a cognitive score, if we egocentrism, then I need to do it. It hurts my, someone can do something and that hurts my ego, then we can go for the, we are ready to taking the risk. So this is the cognitive scope, then the risk perception, and then coming to the risk taking. Something is the self perception. I need some self identity, I need to make a self identity, self personality. Then this is coming from the self perception to the risk perception and the risk taking behavior, and the another way is the self perception to the characteristics of the peer group, and then we come into the risk taking. Second one is the social perception of the social performance. Some parental influences, social influences. So in this way, we are re- we are go for the taking the ready to ready to take the risk. And last one is the personal value to achieve something. We are showing us the us as independent. So in that reason, we are ready to taking the risk. So basically, these are the pictures of the risk following the risk taking behavior. Now coming to the types of the risk taker. So there are the 8 types are there. Those are showing the types of risk taker. Those are the wary. Wary means these types are cautious, violent, and pessimistic. Predators means these individuals favor predictability and the continuity. Next, third one is the intense risk taker, where they characterized by being very passionate and the generous. Fourth one is the deliberate. Here, this kind of risk factors are more even tempered and well prepared. This spontaneous. This group of risk taker described as having average risk tolerance. Next, sixth one is the compost, where positive resilience and the task oriented people are showing to taking the risk. Carefree, these are the free thinkers. Those are ready to take the risks. And the last one is the adventurous. Adventurous. So in this group, basically the are impulsive and excitable to take the risk. So these are the eight way the risk takers can be divided or classified. Now coming to the lever realization. Basically, the realization is a process, or it means of the elimination of the control of the state over the economic activity, and it provides greater autonomy to the business enterprises in decision making and eliminates the government inferences. So basically, the liberalization is take an important role to reform the business. So here you can see in this picture, if when we go for the reform, the business during the liberalization, it follows this factor. First is the financial factor, second is the financial sector, third is the fiscal sector and the trade sector. So these are the sectors which is directly connected with the liberalization. With the help of this liberalization, which is directly connected which is directly connected to the economic activity with the business, with his or her business. So basically this is the liberalization, where we can take we are ready to take some decision making, we are ready to improve our decision making quality and eliminate some government interference. So in this way we can enhance our business. So now comes there are some kinds of objects to here. These are the objects of liberalization. The objectives of the liberalization. First one is that to boost the competition, to boost up the competition with the domestic businesses. This is the first one. Second one is that to promote the foreign trade, and regulate import and the export. So in this way we can increase our businesses idea. Third one is the improvement of the technology, and the foreign capital. So we can easily adapt the foreign culture, foreign technology in between us and the foreign capital. Next is that to develop a global market of a country. Next is to reduce the debt burden on the country. So that's another reason. Next is the to unlock the economic potential of the country by encouraging the private sector and the multinational cooperation to invest and the expand. Next is the to encourage the private sector to take an active part in the development processes, to reduce the role of the public sector in future industrial development, and last one is the to introduce the more competition into the economy with the aim of increasing efficiency. So basically from the objective, basically this is the process of liberalization increase the competition between the domestic businesses, and with the help of this it also improve the economical condition of the country, and it also ready to adopt some foreign techniques and invest the foreign capital in our country, and with the help of this they are try to reduce the debt burden from the country and develop the global market within the country, and encourage the all the public sectors or the private sector in the future industrial further or in futures industrial development. So these are the basic object of this liberalization. Now come on to the reform process, the liberalization. First one is the regulation of the industrial sector. Second is the financial sector reform, tax reform, foreign exchange reform, trade and investment policy reform, external sector reform, foreign exchange reform, foreign trade policy reform. So here first is that when we reform any kind of business, then we need to re-regulate the full sector or full the industrial sector, which is can we try to reform. So that's the way they deregulate the sector, then reform the financial sector again, tax purpose we reform its taxing section, foreign exchange which is again to reform, trade and investment policy, then that is also reform. So in this methods all the things which is connected with the business, those are all again reforms. Next is impact of the liberalization. First one is the free flow of capital, diversity of the investor, and the impact of the agriculture. So these are the basic impact of the liberalization. First is the means the first one is that free flow of capital means the liberalization which is enhance the flow of the capital by making it affordable for the business to reach the capital from investor and keep it profitable object. So according to the objective of the liberalization, which is increase the competition within the domestic business, so in this way the more much economy can circulated in the market, so in this way the economic of this country will be increases and debt burden will be decreases. So that's why the free flow of the capital, which is the first impact of this liberalization. Second one is the diversity for the investor. When the money will be circulated within the market, then various kind of investors are trying to invest in the various business sectors or business zones. So in this way the diversity of the investors are increases. And third one is the impact on the agriculture. In this area the cropping designs have experienced a huge changes, but the impact of liberalization cannot be actually measured. So according to the investment, according to the fund, the country try to invest some money to the in the agricultural sector. So in this way they are trying to improve their agricultural section. So these are the basics these are the basic or important impact of the liberalization. Now coming to the methods and technique to generate a business idea. If we want to generate a business idea, we follow these things. First one is that we need to be think like an artist with some innovative idea, with some creative with some creative thinking. Second is keep your eyes open. When we are thinking, we need to open our eyes so that we cannot miss any points or anything from by closing the eyes. So that's why when we thinking or we are trying to do something new, then that time we all need to open our eyes. Next is that to get a little help from our friend, yeah, relative, yeah, some persons. So when we opening a business, we get a help or as a suggestion with some person in cost of some money, in cost of some think in cost of some uh, in cost of some labor, so etc. So in this way we get some help from our friend circle, from our family, from our relatives, yeah, from our society. Next is the give your team flexibility. When you come up with your business idea or creative thinking, then you have to make a team which has some flex, which is who is always have the some flexibility. So they are not try to rigid. So to do some to do one thing. So they are always try to have some flexibility power to be to understand the various things. Next is the hire non-human helper. Here non-human helper means they are hiring some kinds of machine which is doing our doing the job. So for when you running a business, so for that reason if you need some kinds of machines, so that's on when you either you have buy it or hire some hands. So that's why there is a hire the non-human helpers. Next is the learn from the people that are not like you. So you have to be able or capable the power to learning from the others they are not like you. Next is the emphasis with the stranger. So you have to always ready to be to talk with the stranger. So in this way you can get some knowledge and you are much more experience with the feedbacks. Next is the turn pain into the purpose, and next is the trust your employer. So basically these are the most important things to generate a business idea. Now coming to the next is the transforming idea into opportunity. When your business idea is ready, then you have to be transform it into the opportunity. For that reason you have to follow these things. First one is pick any kind of idea, then you sell yourself means you have to work on that idea. So in this way you have to sell yourself, you have to be committed with your idea on the public. Then you have to making a plan for your business, running a business, then build and support, then you have to ready to build your business and get started, gas production or whatever you can go, you can start your business. And they put the best one in and for that to start your business or run a business you have to put your 100% or your 200% on your job. So that's in this way you have to put the best one into this action. And more advice on the personal developed, or I mean you have to be work on your personal develop with the help of the various adapting the new technology. Next is the coming with the SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis is the basically the strategic planning technique which is used to help a person or organization identify his or her strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. So here you can see in these pictures, the strength means the characteristics of a business which gives it the advantage over it. So these are the basically these are the positive line, these are the negative line, and these are the internal factors and these are the external factor. So internal positive, that is the strength, internal negative, that is the weakness. This one is the positive column, this one is the negative column, this one is the internal factor, and this one is the external factors. External factors. So the strength is the basically positive and internal factors. In this way you can find out the characteristics of the business for the advantages, and then the weaknesses you can find out the disadvantages, which one is the negative and the internal negative portion. Then is the opportunity which we got, that is the external positive portions. With the help of this we can formulate and implement the strategy to increase the profitability. And the threats area is the negative external portion, where in this area there is the integrity and the profitability of the business. So these are the in this matrix we can find out the plan. We can easily make a strategy plan for a business or for any kind of competition. So these are the SWOT analysis. Here is the another picture of the SWOT analysis, where you can see S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunity, and T for threat. So the first letter of these four words are together, the analyze, another is called as a SWOT analysis. So in this case, in the stage where you can have to think your company does well, quality you have to improve, the skill, internal sources, and your capital, property, etc. In case of the weakness, you have to think the company's lack or the barrier of the company's competition, better how to compete your competitors. Resource, if you have the limitation resources. So these are the basically weakness of your company. In an opportunity, when you are under market for the specific product, few competitors in your area, emerging need for your products or the services, press media covers your company. So these are the basic opportunities. And the threats is the emerging competitors, changing the regulatory environment, negative press, media coverages, changing the customer attitude, negative customer feedback. So these are the basically threats. So these are the basically showing in this matrix. We can find out the exact strategy. We can make a strategy techniques for running a business. So students, here in these classes we discuss the difference between the entrepreneur and the manager, and we also compare in between the entrepreneur and intrapreneur, and then we can discuss about the various kinds of risk factor, creative idea, and we also discuss about the generating the methods and the techniques to generate the business idea, and then how you have to transform this idea into the opportunity, and at least we discuss about the SWOT analysis. So this is here the students here your chapter 1 is completed. So from the next class we will continue. The next class we start the next second chapter. So still then, stay at home and stay safe. Thank you so much, students.